Rodolfo says, I couldn't watch your last stream, but I wanted to ask you, what is your opinion on Yu Yu Hakusho? So Yu Yu Hakusho was one of my favorite series to read while I was reading it. In my mind, as I was reading Yu Yu Hakusho, I was thinking, like, this is worse Dragon Ball. But at the same time, I could tell that I was liking lots of aspects and the style of it better than Dragon Ball. But in my mind, I was already just like, I'd already checked off in my head. I was like, okay, Dragon Ball is the best type of, like, this type of action key-based martial arts type manga. So Yu Yu Hakusho is probably just, it's got to be a worse series than Dragon Ball, right? So I kind of read it with that mentality. But I found myself enjoying it a lot. I think I enjoyed everything except for the last arc. And I thought the second to last arc was a great arc. And then the last arc, the final tournament that was supposed to happen, it was, without a doubt, the single most disappointing ending to a manga I've ever seen. I can't enjoy that. I can't, like, ever convince myself to go back and read or watch Yu Yu Hakusho because I just know the ending, and the ending's so wildly disappointing. I'm just like, he really didn't care. He just threw it away. He really, really didn't care. He wanted to move on. Riss0is says worse than Naruto. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't like Naruto's ending, but, like, my opinions are basically kind of like this. You can have a sort of Naruto ending where it's like things don't, like, you have problems with lots of the writing stuff basically, and you feel like the series is nowhere near as good as it was and feels like not good, but it's still checking off a lot of the stuff that you wanted to see, which was Naruto and Sasuke fighting together against some big bad. You got to see Madara as a villain, stuff like that, even if it wasn't satisfying. And you finally got to see Naruto and Sasuke fight each other, and you got to see Naruto become Hokage, so a lot of things were checked off. Then you have a Bleach ending where it's just like, holy shit, what did this become by the end? This was the most rushed, abruptly written, thrown out the window sort of shit ever. I think a lot of people in the afterglow of Thousand Year Blood War, which has had some phenomenal animation, and the first half of that arc is very, very good. People have forgotten what the second half is like, and a lot of people are like, oh, we gave Bleach too bad of a rep back when it was first coming out and stuff like that, right? No, you really didn't. People have just forgotten. I don't like, you're looking at a really good animation right now, and you're looking at the well-written half of the arc, so you think in your head that, oh, I must have misjudged the whole thing. No, people don't get on people weren't criticizing Thousand Year Blood War for the first half. It was everything that happened afterwards. And particularly the ending, okay? There is no way to spin it. When people heard that Bleach was ending in 10 chapters, it turned into a circus. People were tuning in with popcorn in their hands, basically like, holy shit, what is this motherfucker going to do in the next 10 chapters? Because there's 10 chapters left of this story. This series is just, like, the ending to Bleach is... Let's wait and see how people feel at the end of Thousand Year Blood War, because maybe there's some new things added to it or something like that by the anime, who knows. But I just remember, in general, people thought that Bleach's descent was swift. In terms of quality, it was swift. And swift, tragic, comical, and particularly rushed at the very end. Rushed to a point that people were generally in shock that something like this could be ending in that number of chapters, right? And then you go one step down from that, and then you have Yu Yu Hakusho's ending, where you don't even get an ending, you just hear about some ending off screen. Imagine the ending of an entire manga being off screen. That's Yu Yu Hakusho. You cannot be worse than Yu Yu Hakusho's ending, in my opinion. You cannot. So there's levels to this, right? I would say with One Piece, I expect a better ending than Naruto, but I'd say getting a Naruto-esque ending where it's like you're not there's a lot going on, lots of stuff happens, maybe you don't vibe with a lot of the plot twists and stuff like that. Maybe you don't vibe with a lot of the writing, but still the big things are kind of being checked off, right? Like, you got to see Madara, you got to see Naruto and Sasuke resolve their differences and fight someone, you got to see Naruto and Sasuke fight each other, you got to see Naruto become Hokage, you got to see a lot of things, you got to see Team 7 together again, even if you didn't like the way that it was done. A lot of stuff was checked off. I would say that's the bare minimum ending that I would be okay with for One Piece. I'm still expecting better, but I'm saying that at the end of the day, if we get something like Naruto where you're not loving everything that's happening in terms of how it's happening, but you're still getting some of the major checkpoints checked off, right? We get Zoro versus Mihawk, we get Luffy versus Blackbeard, we get the One Piece creation, we get some Straw Hat's dreams checked off, stuff like that. That's the bare minimum ending I'm looking for. Crunky Crucker says, Morge, I felt Naruto versus Sasuke should be before the last arc. What would you change? I don't like talking about Naruto that much, just because I feel like I come across as, it's just a series that I never cared that much about. So you guys might be surprised to know this, but out of the big three, Naruto was the one that I was always the least into. I was a big Bleach fan for a time. Middle school me, there was a period of time where I wasn't sure what I liked better, One Piece or Bleach. They were neck and neck. I liked them for different things. So Bleach was one I was more invested in. For me, Naruto is kind of like a series that I always had to hear people talk about. When I say always, it's like I didn't really talk about my love for One Piece and stuff in school. I did like a little bit, and then people, in high school and stuff, and people were kind of like, One Piece, that's so stupid or whatever. I have a grudge against Avatar: The Last Airbender because the one time that I talked about One Piece in high school and stuff to my friends and how much I loved it, they were all like, well, it's not as good as Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar's way better than some anime shit. And I was like, this is so fucked because I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I have to criticize it to explain why I love this other thing, and they should give this other thing a chance. Long story, anyway. But before Avatar, anytime, like, talking about anime and manga, I don't know if it's more okay in schools nowadays. I don't know. But when I was younger, that wasn't really a thing, so you kind of, kept that to yourself. The one thing people would occasionally talk about, and, like, if you were a particularly bold kid, I suppose, you could see kids walking around in Akatsuki outfits and stuff like that, but I think there was at least one time I saw that at my school. Naruto was the one anime that people could mention or reference, I suppose, that was something that was known, I guess, that you could talk about a little bit. It wasn't the weirdest thing to say you were into Naruto. I also went to a predominantly Asian school, so that helped a little bit. But if I brought up One Piece, then that would get into a bit of an argument of, like, what's better than One Piece and Naruto. Same thing online. One Piece versus Naruto, that was just a discussion, right? I was never the biggest Naruto fan. I dabbled. I enjoyed the first part of it quite a bit. Never really got into Shippuden too much. Read most of it later on, right? So, for me with One Piece versus Naruto, it was always just a series that I never cared that much about, okay? I just didn't care that much about Naruto. I was a little unhappy with its existence and, like, how that was popular and people knew about it and stuff, and I was kind of always just like, well, I feel like One Piece is the better series, the better story. I wish One Piece enjoyed the same level of notoriety that Naruto did. That would be nice. But I didn't care about it too much, right? Because I just didn't. It was like, anime manga is just not something I've been talked about much with people IRL, basically, right? So, as Naruto is coming to an end, and I see that the Naruto fan base is going down in flames, and they're really upset about it and all of that stuff, and I'm reading, and I'm kind of not enjoying either. I'm just like, it's like, I felt bad almost, because I never cared about the series enough to hate it, but I also didn't want them to have to experience a bad ending, and I would have liked to have seen a good ending too, but I was also a bit like, cool, well now One Piece stands alone as, like, clearly the best series, because Bleach is going down the shitter, Naruto is, I forget if Bleach had already ended or whatever, so One Piece is king now, and that's basically what happened. We entered a new era where One Piece was basically the king of, just online discourse, I suppose. Then My Hero came along, stuff happened. Rodolfo says, thanks for answering my question. Oh, for sure, that's what I do.